Where's Coach Gait?
One of the 2 middle seats. Notre Dame will not be coming to Postgame. They've elected to not.
I wouldn't either.
Everybody ready? Good? Good. I need a Postgame.
Oh, the cheeky.
We are joined now by Jimmy McCool, Joey Spallina, birthday boy Gary Gait, and John Mullen. We'll take a quick opening statement from Coach, and then we'll take questions. Coach.
Awesome game today. It was so fun. You know, couldn't ask for much more than the effort the guys put in today and the execution, you know, and the way they responded to mistakes, adversity. They made plays when they need to. Complimentary lacrosse. You know, everybody out there made a play. Both ends, face-offs, goalies, you know. They did what they needed to do to have success against, you know, 2-time national championship, you know, team that we haven't had success against since 2018, I believe. And to do it in front of the largest crowd since 2015. So it was a pretty awesome day.
Open it up for questions.
Coach, this was obviously a very physical game today. What was kind of the game plan in terms of physicality?
You know, we honestly just talk about winning ground balls and being tough. Like, you know, we don't go out to play physical. It just kind of ended up that way. And, you know, that's just sometimes how it goes. And you know what? Our guys can do it. They can play any type of lacrosse. They're showing that right now. And I thought they just did a heck of a job.
Coach, another first quarter deficit that you guys come back from. How much resiliency does this team have now? It's back-to-back games where you go down in the first quarter and then able to claw your way back in.
Well, at least it wasn't as big as last time, so we're getting better. You know, it's only, you know, 2 games. You know, for a while there, we were crushing the first 10 minutes of games, and you know, the good thing is we picked up other areas. You know, and you know, it's hard. We talk about really playing 60+ minutes with consistency. So that's what we're really working on. So yeah, we had a bad 5 minutes, but I thought, you know, the 55 other minutes we played pretty well. And we didn't give up, we didn't panic. You know, Peyton Anderson got the first one, got us going, and we went from there. And this team doesn't quit, and whether you're down 5-1 or 3-0, you just keep playing because we know that we're going to get it done eventually.
Joey, when you guys go down 3-0, obviously you scored 9 straight. Just in terms of the possessions you guys were having on offense, what worked better during that run than compared to the first 10 minutes of the game?
Yeah, you know, I think it was, you know, I think we were getting the opportunities that we were looking for. You know, they just weren't going in the goal. You know, I think we were just saying, you know, you can't score 3 goals on 1 shot, you know, so it was just taking it a possession at a time, and you know, I thought that's what we did. You know, I don't think we necessarily changed much. You know, I think maybe we tweaked what sets we were in, and you know, just kind of taking advantage of things that we've seen in film, and yeah, just pretty much going off of that.
Was Payton's goal a sort of sigh of relief for you guys? Like, did he sort of just open it up once you guys saw the ball go in the net there?
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, once you see the first goal go in, you know, I think, you know, in any game, you know, whether it's the first 5, you know, seconds of the game, or, you know, whether it's 5-10 minutes in, you know, I think it's always, you know, a good thing, and you know, I think that just got us going. You know, it was a big goal by him, and yeah, it was great.
Jimmy, you had 10 saves today, and the defense held Notre Dame scoreless for a while there. You know, what were you kind of seeing from the defense that allowed you guys to hold them off for a while?
You know, I think that we were just really connected. You know, we were just talking after every little play, you know, seeing what we had to work on. I think we were pretty aggressive too. You know, we knew this was going to be a team that, you know, comes out firing, very intense, very physical. And I think we just wanted to match that, and we did a really good job of that. And, when we were firing, I think we were tough to beat. So it made my life a lot easier when the defense was as good as they were today.
John, last year against Notre Dame was one of the worst games for you guys at the faceoff dot. How have you prepared from then to now to dominate today?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I was going against one of the best face-off guys in the country. We prepared all week. Guys in the face-off group, we do an amazing job working well with each other. So I just wanted to, go out there, do what I can do, and big shout out to my wings, Chuck, Sammy English, Nikki C, Tyler McCarthy. They really helped me with my confidence, and great team win.
Jimmy, you made a number of big saves on man down, but in particular, can you take me through the one? It's about 6 minutes to go in the third, and you guys killed a 6-on-4 in that case. How much did that help the momentum of what you were looking at?
Yeah, I think the defense did a really good job. Obviously, it's a tough situation being 2-man down. But they gave up a look that I was happy to see, low angle up the hash. And, fired up to make the save. And then, it kind of just sets the tone when you're in that opportunity, 2 men down. It really gave us a boost that, we can beat this team.
And for Joey and Gary, just what kind of, I guess, monkey is off your back in a way to get a big win like this? You got another big game next week.
Yeah.
How much of it is in the here and now kind of a statement that these are the kind of wins you guys have been looking to get?
Yeah, I think people think, that we're not good in the big games, and, I don't think we really care about that. I don't think we care about what anybody has to say outside of our locker room, and, I think the way our schedule is and, the way that the ACC is, there isn't really a layup kind of a game. I think every team's obviously great, and, it's the toughest league to play in the country, and, you really have to earn it to score a goal, and, I think that's just what makes our conference so good and makes our schedule so good, and, I don't think it's a monkey off the back. I think we've won some big games, in my time here at Cuse, but, it was obviously a great win, but, we're looking forward to Cornell, so.
Yeah, I'll be honest that, we didn't really talk about, that, this is our time, this is the one, this is the time. We're just, we know we can beat anybody if we put it together. And we knew that. We found that out about ourselves last year, that we could play with anybody. But we didn't finish games sometimes last year. And I think we've done a better job this year of making plays when we needed them, getting on runs, and getting stops when we needed them. And I think, both ends of the fields have got some more confidence and really done well. I think one of the things the last couple of games has been big is Johnny Mullen. When he wins the faceoffs, the last 2 games, 0 turnovers. We actually maintain the possessions, and it's been huge. So, he had an awesome game today, and along with Jimmy and everybody else. So it was fun.
Entering this is for Jimmy, your coach. What were the areas you pinpointed to slow down Notre Dame's attack, which has been really strong to start the season? What did you pinpoint to slow them down?
We didn't think we were slowing down the first 5 minutes, but I know Coach O really talked about limiting. We didn't mind if Kavanaugh scored. We just didn't want him to have 5 assists. So I know he got a couple goals. I think 2 goals, 2 assists. So that's not bad. And he really drives it for him. And if he's finding the open guys, they're scoring goals. So that was kind of our focus. Like, let's not let players get open. Let's try and cover them. And, clearly when we made mistakes and we left guys open, they found them. And at times I know Jimmy made some big saves, and, we got a couple calls, another challenge, go challenge flag.
Let's go.
So, and those were just well-timed plays. They score a goal, they go offside before. Refs got that. So there was some momentum plays that just, kind of worked for us as well. So I just think that the entire defense just buying into the game plan and, shutting them down for 40 minutes. I don't know the last team that's held them scoreless for 40 minutes, but I thought that was a heck of a job by our D group.
Did anything change between giving up 3 goals in the first 5 minutes and holding them scoreless for 40?
If you ask Coach O, it was, yeah, we weren't dialed in. We weren't executing the game plan. And then we started to. So you just kind of, we keep challenging them, be ready from the opening whistle. And, there was a lot of emotion, a lot of energy. And sometimes that happens and you make mistakes early. And then you settle down and start making some plays. And that's what we did.
Coach or Johnny, either one. You were talking about momentum plays, Coach. One that you made diving out of bounds, it was an incredible play, right? But the one that you made diving out of bounds, like what type of play does that speak to as you as a player? When you make a play like that, like just
I just want to give it all I got, and obviously I want to come out with a nice win. So I didn't really know what was going through my head when it was going out of bounds, but all I wanted to do is just get the ball to somebody. So it just kind of worked out, and then Owen had a nice shot, hit the post, kind of came right back to me. So yeah, it was a good play.
It's awesome.
You talked about earlier how, this is for Coach, how the idea with locking up Kavanaugh was making sure he doesn't get to that 5 assist mark in the passing. For Jake Taylor, though, only 1 goal for him today, and he's kind of crushed this team in the past.
Well, those things kind of work together. That's the beautiful thing about it. If we're sliding to Kavanaugh or sliding to someone else too early, then he's going to get open in the middle. So I thought we did a really good job of once we settled down, of actually executing the game plan. And Coach O is a master of changing up the defense and coming out with different wrinkles. And I thought he did another outstanding job today. To hold the defending champs to under 10 goals, awesome.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Coach Gait, you had 11,000 people at your birthday party today. Where does this rank on, birthday gifts, birthday parties?
Oh, it's incredible. Just I'm not big on birthdays, so it's just another day. But they made it a special one this year for sure. So I appreciate all 11,268 of them. So thank you all.
Coach, obviously when things start to get a little chippy and it's physical like that against a top team, is the message to your players to rise to the physicality or just to make sure you're playing the right way and playing Syracuse level lacrosse?
I just want our guys not to retaliate, not to take, silly penalties. So, that's always the focus. Try and win with class, do it the right way. So that's all.
Joey, I was just wondering, when you got a guy like Sean Light on you, what the prep is like during the week and what allowed you to spring free today?
Yeah. I think there's some things that I obviously, I spend a pretty good amount of time, kind of studying film on, whoever I think's going to guard me, and I think Sean's a great player. There was some things that I was seeing during film, that I thought I could take advantage of, and, I think we did that today, and, I think there's a couple shots that I'd probably want back, but, that's the way lacrosse is. But, yeah, I think Sean's great, but, it's really was just what I was seeing on film and, just kind of doing my best to get open and, kind of score.
Got 3 more. We're going to go here.
Sure. Joey, it seemed as though after a few possessions, Peyton Anderson was taking more of the X reps. How did that open up the offense?
Yeah, Coach March kind of put us in a set, where I'm able to play above the goal and Peyton's able to go behind the goal. For the past 2 summers, I've been playing above the goal and, been doing well with it, So, I think just me being able to, kind of play all over the place, within the offense, will help our offense only do so well. And, I think that's just all it is. I think, Coach March, is just putting us in spots that he thinks we'll do well in. And, I thought we both did pretty well in those spots that we were in.
Joey, I know you said you guys don't care about, what anybody outside of the locker room says, but, how do you think, experience plays a factor in being able to, be able to better rise to the occasion in these games as you've gone along in your career?
Yeah, I think the experience part is, a prime example of the first quarter. I think, I think a team like us probably last year, I think, it might have taken us some more time to get going, kind of like in our game against them last year. I don't know what the score is, but I know we did not have a good first quarter of that game. And, I think it's just the experience, of playing in, a bunch of games. We've got some guys that have played in a ton of games, all over the place. And, I think that will only help us as we go along here. So,
Coach, you mentioned obviously you guys hadn't been in Notre Dame since 2018. What was different, I guess, about this matchup? I know a few years ago they scored, I think, 9 straight in the fourth quarter to beat you guys. What was different about this matchup where you guys were able to score 9 straight in this one on your side?
We're just different teams. They're not the same team. It's not the same lineup that won the championship that last year or the year before. It's every year it's a new team, and we're different, and you just develop. And this year we knew that if we played well, we could play with them and have an opportunity to finish this game, and we did. And it's about guys stepping up and making plays. And like I said from the very beginning, that all over the field, guys made plays when we needed them. Huge, from Johnny's amazing save of the ball and getting it. It was awesome. And to hear 11,000 people stand up for that effort was awesome. Not just for a goal, not for a face-off, but for the pure effort that he put out there and did on the field. And I kind of took a second, looked around, and it was awesome to see the fans come to their feet and really appreciate that he was willing to put that type of effort in for them.
Got any birthday plans for tonight?
No birthday plans. Just with family and friends. That's all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.